the lair, for all your private server and VoIP needs.
And Thunderbirds are go! Good evening, one and all, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Nihil, and I am joined for this little podcast by Forbesy. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. And David. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, one and all. We're doing a little podcast for all the ones that didn't get in the last podcast this time. And we're just going to be covering a couple of little things here and there for Terror-Byte gaming and whatnot. So, let's see what we've got here. A couple of little things like, well, what's everyone doing at the minute? I mean, how's everyone getting on with gaming and whatnot? What's everyone playing as such?
Well, currently myself, I've started playing XCOM Declassified.
Oh,
don't know if
cool.
any have tried it.
I have heard of it.
It's okay. It kind of deviates from the previous XCOM games, as it's not all strategy. It's kind of one third person. It leaves a bit to be desired, but it's kind of standard. It's
the previous XCOM game was Enemy Unknown, wasn't it?
Enemy Within. It came out with an expansion, but was really a standalone. Would have been.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the sort of the most recent that isn't Declassified.
Huh.
So, no, I believe actually it was XCOM Enemy Unknown. Then it was Declassified, with the newest expansion being Enemy Within, going back to the strategy game.
Ah, yes, the Bureau
Yeah.
XCOM Declassified. Ah, yes. It's sort of like, it's kind of about UFO flying saucer sort of thing back in the Roswell time.
Yeah, that's basically it. Kind of expands a bit more in the background of the the aliens and how XCOM started and why it was founded, and it's not extremely great on story. There are some great plot twists, but there's not that many compelling characters to really make you care who these plot twists are affecting.
Oh, it's sort of, it doesn't really keep you held as such.
Yeah, but it's decent, but I'm gonna finish it.
You're just gonna get through it and then
I'm gonna get through
put it back in the pile. I just right. I've been playing a bit of Skyrim at the minute. I've just been playing it on PC because it's friggin' awesome. But stupidly addictive on PC as well. Because I used to have it on the PlayStation 3, and the only reason I didn't like playing it on the PS3 was because of the friggin' loading times. In between screens.
Yeah, the loading times, and Oblivion, and even Fallout, the loading times on them are abysmal at times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure any Bethesda game really on console, you have loading screens that just,
Yeah, but console or PC, the Bethesda games, with Fallout and Skyrim are extremely addictive. There's too much to do.
There is far too much to do.
Too much to explore.
It's great that way. I love it, because it just means that you sort of have freedom of this awesome ass sandbox. You can go about and just do anything, be anything you want, kind of thing. Like, I know from the likes of games like classic sandbox games like Prototype or Infamous, you're sort of stuck to what you are and what you can do. But in the likes of a Bethesda game, there's so many customization options, so many options to explore, places to go, people to talk to, quests to get, weapons, whatever. There's so much stuff.
Customization is a huge thing for me when playing a game. If a game has customization, I more than likely own it.
You will spend most of your time on the customization. Yeah, it does. Oh god,
Whereas before, maybe you're playing as a character who acts a certain way, and you may not like the way he acts. Like, I'll give the new Devil May Cry as an example.
Oh, the new DMC, like
the redesign of Dante, but the game was...
It was meant to be a younger Dante, and it just didn't appeal to anyone because it wasn't the classic look.
But it wasn't... The look brought it down, and, it didn't sell great because of that alone. I bought it, and
how did you find it?
I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. The gameplay was a little bit simplified, the combat systems.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was in, like, the previous... To get a really high combo, you had to mix this weapon with this weapon, or juggle and then dodge down another enemy without getting hit or letting the combo break. But in this one, it's a lot easier. So I suppose it could kind of get a new generation of gamers into Devil May Cry.
Do you think it may be a bit too simplified though? Like, it kind of doesn't respect a person's intelligence when they're playing or such, or?
Well, it has plenty. I think four or five difficulty levels, but even the hardest one that you can pick at the start, you complete it and you unlock another difficulty level. You complete that, you unlock the last. The hardest difficulty you can pick isn't that difficult. I mean, I maybe died maybe twice, 3 times, maybe. So
See, I kind of
not
like
much
that.
of a challenge.
Yeah, I kind of like that in games whereby you complete the game on normal, you unlock the next difficulty. I like that because you feel like you're actually building your skill as you replay the game. You know that if you beat it on hard, you're like, hell yeah, I'm doing really well. And then when you beat it on like
Sense of
harder or
achievement.
insane, it isn't a sense of achievement that you're actually beating a game at its hardest difficulty. You feel really good. It's like, see, back in the day of the 8-bit era, you were sort of, with the majority of games, stuck with the one difficulty, but the game itself was designed to get, gradually harder as each level went on.
Oh, stupidly more difficult.
Some games still do that now, but the problem is with some games now is that in the 3D environment, you're given so many upgrades, weapons, stuff like that there to help you get through certain parts, and then you end up realizing that you're stupidly overpowered even in the highest difficulty. So the sense of achievement isn't really there as it would be with an older game of a previous generation. But on the up note, there are some games that do respect difficulty, which is good. But they allow you to change difficulty in-game sometimes. Like Bethesda are very guilty of that there. They let you change your difficulty in-game. It's like, oh, there's a bit that's too hard, well, just knock it down to adept and you're good to go.
Yeah, but when you play it for long enough, you forget that that's there. You forget that you can go in and you can change the difficulty to grind. But
Yeah,
anyway,
sometimes I don't even. Yes,
what are you
Forbesy,
playing?
what are you up to at the minute?
Well, I'm trying to go away from first-person shooters because ever since console, it's all I've been playing, just Call of Duty constantly.
Oh god, tell me about it.
But when I started PC, I bought. Well, that's me been on PC for about a year and a half now, and the first game I had was Battlefield 3.
Yes.
And now I play a lot of Black Ops 2. I have Ghosts, but I don't like that at all. But I'm trying to go away from the whole first-person shooter and play more sort of sandbox games or just general fun games.
Yeah.
Like
I know,
I started playing Skyrim quite a lot, but
Yeah.
I
Good
just
man.
mod the shit out of that. Like I played it for so many thousand hours on console. I just thought there's no point in me actually going and completing it again on PC, so I just installed mods. Like the first mod I installed was, I think it was the Lord of the Rings weapon pack.
Nice.
Just stuff like that, but I'm trying to find more games.
I don't think I've even started modding Skyrim yet myself.
Have you got any your eye on any games you maybe give a try? Any sandbox games as you were saying?
Well, I'm really just trying to find some sort of game that is either single player or co-op or online or whatever, like just to pass time. Because I'm at university, I don't have that much time to sort of go right into a game and spend hundreds of hours on it. I'm really just looking for like a casual game to play along and
Casual game. I was discussing
Sort of
this.
like a quick fix in a sense.
yeah,
I was
like just
discussing
something to
this
chill.
not that long ago. With I don't know if any of you have played any Telltale games. Games. So like The Walking Dead and there's Sam and Max and The Wolf Among Us, which is recent.
No, I have not.
Those are great games, for yourself, Forbes. For you want a game that isn't a first-person shooter and that you can put on, but you don't have to spend that much time involved in the story or anything overly complicated.
Hey,
These
Forbesy,
are
play Killing Floor.
Yeah, I'm
these
still
are
catching by that.
adventure games. Like Broken Sword and King's Quest. It's almost like a choose your own adventure game. You choose what the character says, the actions he takes, what routes to go down. They're great games to get into because the episodes themselves aren't that long. I mean, each episode lasts maybe, they range from an hour and a half to 2 hours. So they're great to go in, get an episode done, and then you don't have that much time. So it seems like a good place to go, or a nice
Could
place to
be
start.
reminiscent of the Mass Effect trilogy as well, in a way. So I quite like Mass Effect. Yeah, see, when it comes to like story and chapter wise, you get really immersed because it takes on the dialogue style of maybe Fallout in a sense, but you've so many dialogue options to become good or bad. They keep the karma thing available, like they did in Fallout and stuff. But it's actually really good because it's like a third-person shooter in a sense, but you have a squad and you can upgrade your squad, get them new weapons, And there's actually a ginormous universe to explore when it comes to Mass Effect. It's really, really good once you actually get into it.
Oh, it's fantastic. The story's great. The voice acting is great. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a game that you could stick on only for a few hours. Some of the missions
True that, yeah.
are pretty long, especially if you want to, find all the codex entries, which I don't know if any of you are like it, but in games like Assassin's Creed, and when you're running through the town and anonymous entry, I have to stop and read them. So when I play Assassin's Creed, I do more reading than playing.
That's sort of what I've been doing in Skyrim. That's the problem. Every book I pick up, I pick up a book and I read it, and I'm like, see, the first time I played it, I was like, if I read to the end of the book, it might up a skill. But it turns out if you just pick up certain books, they already up your skill. And there's sometimes I find myself actually sitting and reading half the books in Skyrim. Have you ever sat and read some of the books? It's
There's
nuts.
only
Some of them are
one
actually quite
book.
good.
Some of the lore is fantastic. It's great.
There's one book I read, and it's in Riverwood. I can't mind the name of the character's house. It's if you join the Stormcloaks, if you said
Yes,
to them
yes.
at the start to run with.
Oh yeah,
Girder,
that's-
I think you call her. And there's a book just right beside the bed, and it's about Olaf, the dragon.
Yeah.
Ah,
And that was the only one I read. And the only reason I read it was for the animation when you turned the page. That was it.
Some
like,
of the
look,
stories you
the
get in it
page-
are actually decent.
I know. It's like the page turns. And it's like, whoa, that was cool. This page turns like a real page in real life.
The only reason I got through
This
the book.
game's amazing.
So anyway, we'll move on to our first topic. I think
Yep.
I've discussed enough about games we're playing and moved on to games that we previously played. So,
Yep.
considering in the previous podcast we had the benefits of PCs over consoles, we're going to do a reverse
Yes.
and talk about the benefits of consoles over PCs. Granted, a lot of it comes down to your personal preference, but there are some points that can be made for consoles that can't be made, for PCs.
Like, yeah. Well, there's one thing I always pointed out is consoles are convenient for players who, in a sense of the word, trying to get into gaming. It's convenient and it's easy because a console is made specifically for what you need it for, gaming. I mean, the newer generation consoles now are getting, they have all these options that you can store music and photos and you can browse the internet and stuff. That's all well and good and stuff. They're branching more towards what a PC would be, in terms of operating system. And that's all well and good. But primarily, consoles are convenient because, one, controllers. Now, I heard in the previous, yes, price exactly. That was going to be my second point. But controllers was my first point, is because a lot of people don't like to sit at a PC and play games. Me, I'm grand with it. I get a sore back sometimes, but a lot of people don't really have the patience for a keyboard. And it's far more convenient and easier to have all the buttons at your two hands. Plus, you can relax. You can chill out on a sofa or lie in your bed and play a game on a console on a nice big TV with no worries.
It almost feels like playing on a PC is almost just maybe not a huge difference, but
Yeah.
a little bit more demanding than
There are
playing on
peripherals,
a console
of course.
would be.
Yeah, there are peripherals,
we
of course, that you can buy for a PC, but
Yeah, but then it still comes down to price.
yeah,
Whereas the
it is.
console, it comes with its controller. So, also
Comes
the
with the
fact
controller.
that important games, that they're optimized for consoles instead of being like ports.
Yes.
Quite a lot of proper A-list games are coming out for console and then they're ported. Like, I don't know if any of you had played the Tomb Raider game, the new Tomb Raider game.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
Its port to PC from console was probably one of the worst ports that I personally have ever played.
It actually looks really good in the PS4. I've been watching some gameplay videos of it.
Oh, the
Pretty
PS4,
damn nice.
it looks nice on next gen, but it also looks gorgeous on PC too. But then again, is that extra little bit of
Graphical
graphical
integrity,
edge,
yeah.
Is it really worth the kind of sluggish controls?
To be honest, I think the PlayStation still isn't being able to get its full use out of itself. It's not being fully utilized yet because a lot of game programmers out there don't really know what to do with all these awesome graphics in terms of making a game awesome, which is a little thing I'm a little scared for when it comes to the future of gaming, is that they may be more focused on how a game looks as opposed to how it plays.
Oh,
That's
I've
the only
played
problem I have with it.
many recent games that have sort of come out. Some of them look beautiful, but
Oh yeah.
they're just missing, that vital gameplay element.
It looks nice, but sometimes they just don't. They don't bring you in. You don't get immersed. You can't get immersed because you feel like you're just watching a movie and pushing buttons.
Oh well, there are games like there was a few reports and things I'd seen on games like Heavy Rain,
I liked Heavy
And,
Rain. I thought
you
that was
know,
kind of fun.
Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah.
That, or can you really classify them as games? But what I kind of like now is the games aren't just games now. Now games are art.
They are. They really are.
They're
Oh,
an
they're
art
taking-
form now.
Yeah, they always have been. It's just nowadays they're falling more into a chic category as such with like the rise in popularity of gaming now. I mean, you see people on buses, everywhere you go, everyone's got a phone or a tablet, right? And guarantee you, at least 9 out of 10 of those people have at least one game on that device. And I'm just saying, like, some folks are probably sitting on the bus playing, I don't know, that little Flappy Bird game that, was out there for a while.
yeah.
Whatever. They probably say to themselves, oh, this is cool. Look, I'm gaming. Yay, I'm actually getting quite good at this. And then in hindsight, they could be like, oh, let's go for a better game. And they get a better game, and then they say, well, turns out gaming's fun. I'm going to buy a console. Because it's just so much easier to buy a console instead of focusing on having to build up a PC that costs so much money. And then you have to have basic know-how of how to, throw it all together. I mean, PC is worth it in the end, but it's not convenient for people with money struggles who are just wanting what they want, and that's the game.
Yeah,
But even
especially
at
since
that, like
Oh,
if
go
someone
ahead, George.
if someone buys a console, like whether it's a next gen or like previous ones, they
Yeah.
know that whatever game comes out, it's perfect. It will run the way the console's designed to run.
Absolutely.
But if someone goes and buys a PC and they don't know much about specs, then they could buy a PC and it can run one game. Like, I had a really bad PC before I built my gaming one now,
Yeah.
and I could still run Tomb Raider and ultra graphics and it would still run smooth. But
Okay.
when I tried to do the same in Battlefield and run more than medium or high, then I start to notice that the computer I thought was decent actually wasn't.
Oh, Battlefield is very, very heavy when it comes to graphics.
It's quite demanding. But that was actually going to be my next point as well. With PCs, there's, if you buy a game on a console, you don't have to worry about the specs. You buy a game,
Yeah.
assuming you bought it for the right console, you can stick it in and play it. There's not going to be a problem with that.
It's like there's no compromise at all with any sort of graphics. Like, the developers make it the best they can for the console, whereas when they port it to PC or if they make it specifically for PC, they make it with the best that they can make it with, and then they just lower down the graphics to suit the gamers who don't have as high a spec PC,
Yeah.
which makes consoles slightly better in that way. But
Yeah, in that regard, I would definitely agree with you. Also, the fact that consoles, they're built to last as long as until the next gen console's going to come out.
yeah,
That no matter what game comes out, you're going to be able to play it. But with PCs, you might you'll be able to play a game perfectly fine, looks beautiful, runs beautiful, and then you may go for games like Crysis, and your specs may not be half as good as needed to
Yeah.
play that game. Also, there's if you damage something in your rig or that costs quite a bit of money to replace.
yeah.
No, that's true. That. Can also say at the same time is that consoles can't be upgraded in the way that PCs can. But it's like you said, they're made for the purpose. You know that when you buy a game for them, it's going to be exactly what it says on the box,
Yeah, it's going to
And
run.
that's good. Yeah.
I mean, you will get with some games that are a little bit more demanding, maybe some screen tearing, or at some points in some games I've played, the voice sync kind of goes off. In more recent games that are a bit more demanding.
I find that, yeah.
It's never anything overly noticeable.
Yeah, it's nothing that would hinder your wanting to play the game any further.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you still continue. You just ignore it and go on, and just if it happens again, it happens again. It doesn't really interrupt.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Once again, you could have the same thing happen on a PC if you don't have the money for a top of the line one. The same thing could happen. You could get screen tears and
Yeah. I'm not really bothered. I mean, I still have the PlayStation 3, and I've had it for about nearly 6 years now. It's very loud because it's the fat PS3. I mean, the fan in it is just going. Yeah, but it still works. Still
Is
works
it-
great.
The backwards compatibility PS3?
No, unfortunately
Oh.
not. Those ones were actually very, very prone to yellow lighting.
But it in my eyes, would have been worth it just so I could play my PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation, because
You're better off just having a PS2.
though I've got one now, but
Because there were a lot of frame rate issues when it came to playing PS2 games on a Blu-ray disc drive. There was a lot of it wasn't able to be transposed for high definition gaming, which was the problem. Not a big difference, but you would notice your VSync on your TV going ape shit, which wasn't fun. But nonetheless, still good to have previous consoles as it is to have next gen consoles, because there's so many great titles that are still out there.
so
and-
many fantastic ones that haven't been ported. They haven't. And I think like a huge mistake I think they're doing with these next gen consoles are no backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
Not even for if you own an Xbox One, you won't be able to play your Xbox 360 games on it.
yeah.
And I remember in an interview, one of them had said that if you want to play your Xbox 360 games, get an Xbox 360.
Yeah,
Which
pretty
I
much.
find that to be, it's kind of like a to the fans that have stuck with you for you to. I mean,
Yeah.
when they recalled a lot of the PlayStation 3s and they stopped with the backwards compatibility, I mean that was a pretty big nut punch to a lot of people. So for
It was that,
Xbox
yeah.
to see that happening and then make that remark was a little bit understated.
Yeah, it was kind of a dick move in a way.
Yeah, until he got all the feedback and then he actually made a post about it and changed everything.
Yeah. I think the only good thing is that the previous gen consoles, PS1, 2, whatnot, they can still be picked up for a relatively dirt cheap price, which
Yeah,
is
but
nice.
it's
So,
finding the games you loved playing.
oh god, you have to do
Trying
some
to find
internet
them in
hunting
good
work, yeah.
in good condition. Like I loved some pretty vague outdoor games that not many people know about. Like for like the original Xbox, there was Vax.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of us have played it, but it was
No.
one of my favorite games for the original Xbox. If anyone's got an original Xbox and need to pick up Vax, it was fantastic. Kind of like Jack and Daxter meets Ratchet and Clank. The two games are very similar already, but if you put them together, it became Vax.
Haha. Sounds like a fun platformer.
It was fantastic. It was
Yeah,
I
Many
vaguely
check-
remember
many hours.
the name.
So I've never. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I vaguely remember the name, but I never actually played that many games. I had a PS1 and PS2 and stuff like that, but it was always, no matter what one it was always Crash Bandicoot. That was that was my
Crash
go-to.
Bandicoot until they brought out Mind Over Mutant and Cross of the Titans. I'm not sure if the sort of recent ones came out for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
It's
Whoa.
just not the same.
I didn't think
No.
Crash got that far. I thought he
Oh,
just
we
like.
did. They give him a reskin. He's got these tattoos now on his forearms, down his hands.
Ooh.
Yeah,
He looks
Crash
like a proper
Bandicoot,
surfer dude now.
There's
Crash
someone.
Bandicoot's a badass now.
I don't actually know who it is, but someone's actually making a Crash Bandicoot game for PC. I think it was actually meant to be due out at some point this year. He's basically making it on the Crytek engine. I think it's like Crytek 3 or something. But he can't actually sell it because he doesn't obviously own the rights to like all the Crash Bandicoot characters.
Oh,
But
yeah.
So he's pretty much made a game that will never see the light of day, bar his own computer.
well, he can actually distribute it, but he can't sell it. As long as he doesn't make any money off it at all. Even, well, I don't know if he can run ads or something on it, but as long as he doesn't actually sell the game, because it's like copyrighted to,
Naughty Dog.
yeah, so they still hold copyright, but as long as he doesn't sell it, then he can still distribute it.
That
I'd
should
love
be
to see what
interesting to
it's
check
like.
out. Like,
Yeah.
it would be awesome. I'd love
If
to
it
see
comes out
Crash.
well, you never know. They could buy it off him, release it, or allow it to be sold, maybe on the likes of Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, even a lot of people thought he was completely dead after the PS2, flop. I mean, his games were great on the PS1. I used to have them all. I even loved Crash Team Racing. That's how much I loved Crash. He was my Mario in a sense. It was still Sonic the Hedgehog for me when it came to Sega, though. It was like, meow.
No, Sega.
Little blue ball goes,
Shenmue.
meow.
Shenmue, Dreamcast, fantastic.
Oh, I never had a Dreamcast, unfortunately.
Oh, best console I have ever owned. I wish
Right.
I didn't keep it out in the shed because the damp just killed it.
It died a horrible death, unfortunately.
It did. It was a mourn.
Did you ever hear the rumors of like at E3 that they were going to try and that Sega were going to make like a big massive comeback and enter the console race?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wouldn't that have been awesome if they did that?
I was
Was
hoping
that
for a
not
new Dreamcast.
Yeah,
I
was
don't
that
know.
not around about the same time that the Nintendo was bringing out the Wii U, or they were announcing it or something?
I think it was maybe. It was either just around the same time or a little bit after. That announced it. I think you're right. Yeah, I think I remember. Being
Because I
around
remember
that time.
watching it on, because I always watch E3 every year. I mean, I stay up for like the full time, and I remember at like 6 in the morning, they were saying that they were going to try and make a comeback, but it was only rumours at the time. And it was when they announced that something big is coming from Nintendo, but no one knew what it was, and that's when they announced the Wii U.
So it wasn't something big; it was something wee. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
We almost made it through the whole
He
podcast
just said
without a
that.
pun. Almost. It was so-
Dude, you're talking with me. I'm the king of crap.
Oh, I will not fight you on that. You can be the king of crap.
What's that? A shit demon. Ah dear, too good. Look. So, like, what all the consoles do you own, David? Like, all your consoles? You
All
said you
my
got loads of them.
consoles. Oh,
Yeah.
Xbox 360, obviously.
Right.
PS3, PlayStation Vita, which, to be honest, probably should have waited before purchasing, as there's not that many games out for it. 'Cause the price has dropped already drastically. Because I bought it day one. I was hoping for maybe some games that shared, features with
Yeah, it was like-
PlayStation 3. There was some. There was like the new Sly Cooper game that came out. You could play it on your PlayStation 3 and then bring that save over to your PlayStation Vita and
Yeah.
continue on, from your Vita, which I thought would have been pretty cool. I wouldn't really have a need to do it because I don't really go anywhere for long periods of time away from my consoles, or I get
Yeah.
like withdrawal. So
Sure, it's always something fun to do when you're shitting in the dough.
I also have my PSP, 3DS, a DS, Game Boy SP, if you remember them,
Game Boy SP, brilliant. As we Game Boy SP, they broke
PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and a Wii as well. I think that's it.
You think?
I
Check
think
under the bed. There might be more. I think I smell an Atari under there.
they are all the stats around this house, man. I don't think there's a room in this house that I don't have a console in.
Class. I've only just got the PlayStation. I just got PS3. That's all I have now. My
No,
PS3
you got,
died years
you
ago.
got your rig now as well, so
I got my what now?
your PC. your
Oh
rig,
yeah.
you've got it.
Oh, right.
So you can play most of the games that maybe not some of the the Xbox 360 exclusives. Well, you can play the first Halo. I believe the first Halo it's available on PC.
It's been remastered. Don't know
Oh,
how
yeah,
you remaster it really, but yeah.
Oh, they've done it really well. When they remastered the first one, it's fantastic. I own it for the Xbox myself. I was never a huge fan of Halo though, but the remastering, I had to see it.
I think the problem with Halo is that a lot of people really didn't know how to play it. There's a certain way to play Halo.
Oh, but it's not
like
difficult. It's a game that I remember the first time I played it was in my cousin's house, and
Yeah.
from I picked up the controller, I knew what to do until I had to drive the Warthog, which was the
Yeah.
first time I'd ever had to drive and use, the right joystick, which
Yeah.
Yeah,
you just look around with to
It
turn.
was a,
And
yeah, it was
that-
a
that-
little awkward, like.
Yeah, many times I flew off cliffs and into walls and run my cousin over. So I wasn't a very fun person to play with for a while
But see,
until I got the hang of it.
even the way that people play Call of Duty, it's fairly simple how you learn how to play a game like that there. It's all about aim, shoot, tactical hide, grenade, whatever, breach and clear, all that shit. Everyone knows how to do that. See, with Halo, it was literally, like it said in the box, it's combat evolved. It was a different way of playing an FPS, because a lot of people thought, oh, you run, you shoot, you cover. It's like, no, it's not like that. You run like hell, you bash fuck the shit out of the Covenant, you throw grenades, you shoot, you bash, you shoot, you bash. It's
you
very...
jump like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's Marauder tactics as such. It's Marauder tactics. You just run in and biff. You don't bother with long rangedness. Not even with a sniper rifle. You just run and biff. Which was good. Well, what about you, Mark? What sort of consoles do you have, man?
Well, right now, all I really have is obviously my gaming PC, but that's not technically a console. I recently traded my old PC for my little brother's 360, just so I could play Halo 4.
As many people have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got an iPad Air, which I can obviously play games on. Samsung Galaxy S4, which I play a lot of games on, including Despicable Me, Minion Rush. And sadly, or quite happily as well, I still have my purple Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red.
Oh,
nice.
Game Boy Color. I know it was me talking about the SP, thinking I was all that.
That's pure
I've
great,
still
man.
got that.
You still got an original Pokemon and a Game Boy. You are well suited for the next 10 years, my friend.
Or at least the next 10 shits.
What I have thought is...
Just keep it by the sink for standby, Uh-oh, turd. Time to go back on Red.
True gamers don't read magazines in the toilets, man. True gamers don't read magazines in the toilets.
I always bring mine to the toilet on my phone. And play hill climb racing, because that's the height of excitement on my phone.
Like, the actual capsules you get for like the games on Game Boy.
Yeah.
I heard that they should still work now, purely because there's a really small battery inside it that keeps the memory there. It's like RAM, just random access. It's like the memory's still there. If that battery dies, that's your game like corrupt and you can't use it again. And it's supposedly meant to last 14 years, which should mean it's pretty much dead soon.
Oh.
Keep it going, keep it going!
You can mourn
Quickly,
him alongside
quickly,
me
Mark,
as I
go to
mourn
the
my
toilet,
Dreamcast.
quick!
But other than that, that's pretty much the only consoles that I remember where they are. I've still got, I don't know if anyone that listens to this will be old enough, but I've still got the joystick for the Amstrad CPC 464, which is a really old computer.
Straight over my head, dude.
Straight over mine.
See, I'm only 23, but it was my big sister that had it, and that was the first ever thing that got me into gaming. Like that.
I think it was a ColecoVision got me into gaming. I used to play a game on a ColecoVision called Gorf. And it was just another spin-off of Space Invaders, because
Right.
Yeah.
Another.
in the dark ages they didn't really know what to go on because they didn't really know what went into a video game as such. It was all trial and error. It's kind of fun though. But Gorf, what a name! They're like, what are you playing? Gorf.
Actually, if I
It's
think
not like
about
golf. No, it's
the
like Space
first-
Invaders.
the first console I properly played, I think was probably the Nintendo 64. Was the first I'd played, and then I actually played back the previous consoles once I got into gaming.
Sweet.
But I remember faking sick so many days of school just so I could play Super Mario.
Didn't we all?
Oh, it was
That's right, dude. You're not
fantastic.
alone on that boat when it comes to Mario 64.
So many times, just sitting rubbing my head so it gets warm. I will stay off school.
I did actually play Mario 64 a lot myself, even though I didn't own a Nintendo 64. Because my aunt brought one home one night, and she asked me because I was like young and always playing games. She wanted me to test out this console because it was meant to be a present for someone. I wanted to keep the thing. I didn't want to take it away from me. But I was playing with it there, and I just came to a conclusion like an N64. It's a great console, but why the hell is the controller so awkward?
No, that middle bit, it was not needed.
It was not needed. That's why they just took it apart, and now we've got the Wiimote.
That's true. But it was like one of the most iconic things with the Nintendo 64 was this funny little controller that if you played with it for more than 2 hours, your hands cramped so painfully.
Oh yeah. It's because you were like trying to control the thumbs. You're trying to control the thumbstick and the back button, as well as like the optional other buttons on the
like the
right-hand
tabs.
side. So you were holding.
Turn
You
the
were
camera.
holding. Yeah, you were holding this controller like Phoebe was making the bear claw on her guitar.
Exactly. So uncomfortable.
You were coming away from this thing with near enough carpal tunnel.
Yet there's still something so comforting about it though.
There's a strange aura that just pulls you into it, like, isn't there?
It was the first game I played. The first Zelda game I played was on the Nintendo 64, Ocarina of Time, and
Oh, great game.
so many hours put into it, so many days, probably so many months. If we count up with all the hours on top of one another, I played that game. Most of it spent in the water temple because it was just never been faced with such a challenge as the water temple in my life. Even from then on, nothing more annoying than that water temple.
Oh, it's like platforming, jumping about the place. It's very awkward sometimes in the older consoles because when it came to controlling camera angle, in some games, the camera didn't want to move. It had a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of games like that. I can't even remember the names of them. I just remember seeing some playthroughs on YouTube. And I was like, good God, how do these people even have the patience to get through this game? That would drive me insane.
Yeah,
but,
I think camera work is one of the main focuses you're going to have, because that's like one of the first things that gamers notice is that if the camera works bad, it's the first thing you notice as soon as you start moving around the environment. Especially in platformers, it is extremely important to get camera angles right in platformers.
This has been corrected nowadays, though. For example,
No, well, you still get some that are a bit iffy.
Yeah, well, you see a lot with third-person platformers and whatnot back in the day. The camera was always trying to be focused at the very back point of your character, so your character was dead center of the screen and the camera was right behind them. I didn't like that because it was difficult to see what was ahead of you.
Yeah,
but nowadays
views.
Nowadays they've corrected this. Here is that you can have your character slightly to the left or to the right of the crosshair of the screen, so you're still using your character, but you're using them as if you were in an FPS holding a gun, and that's good. They have like an aim mode for that there, and then they have the free mode where you just run around. It's good that there are actually things like that have been taken into consideration, worked on, and fixed. And then there's still so much stuff out there in games that have been overlooked because, well, I think half the time the programmers just don't care anymore. They're like, well, we've made our fortune, bye-bye.
Yeah, well, if I'm going to talk about developers that seem like they've sort of given up, I would have to bring up Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
I gave them with that game
God,
so long ago.
I loved the first one. I loved the second one. I enjoyed the third one. I loathed the fourth.
Brotherhood was pretty much the last one I played. I completed it and it was just the same old game. I don't think there was even anything different. Maybe just a couple of different weapons. But there's not much you can actually add to Assassin's Creed to make it better. Until now, where they've now got ships that you can drive.
Yeah, Black Flip. But they had the ship combat in Assassin's Creed 3, and it was by far one of the worst games I think I've played.
Truly terrible. I never even.
The gameplay wasn't.
Yeah,
the gameplay wasn't bad though. It was the same as previous Assassin's Creed games, but nothing was built upon.
The characters were boring. It was just a trip through American history which bored the tits off me. Nothing against it, but no one else in the rest of the world really cared. They didn't care.
Well, Assassin's Creed, they have a very devoted fan base.
I think Ubisoft aren't just going to let the genre die. They're just not going to let it go. I mean, they keep on going. The first game was a triumph. The second game was a masterpiece. Brotherhood was great because, personally, I thought the Ezio trilogy was phenomenal.
Oh, no, they spent
I thought it was
so much time
absolutely
on
phenomenal.
Ezio, in my personal opinion. I thought, because after Brotherhood, yeah, alright, we'll play as the same, but you wanted to move on to a different time. You wanted different weapons, different environments, different things to work with, and that's what I loved about Black Flag when it came out. I mean, the age of piracy,
Oh
was
yeah,
just perfect.
treading around the Caribbean, stopping off on coves, and then doing your Assassin's Creed thing.
Bar
It's all-
fights and
It's all well and good, but I've heard that the majority of the gameplay is set at sea. And
well, I wouldn't say the majority. You do spend a lot of time at sea, but the way they've made the ship combat, it is very satisfying. You know, that they haven't just sort of half-assed it and thrown it in there. You can do this, but we would advise against it.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of the game, and it's hugely entertaining too. But with everything that comes with the ship battles, is once you've damaged it enough, you can choose to completely, destroy the ship and only get half the loot.
or you can
or you can
board,
board
it,
them.
yeah.
And then that's where you get a lot of combat. So it kind of mixes the two, along with some underwater section, where you go diving and
Yeah.
you stop off on different islands and you find wee collectibles as Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's kind of notorious for with their flags and their feathers. But in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, they were so close to staying away with it. They almost did away with it, and then there was the Animus fragments you have to collect.
Oh no!
They're not as annoying, but after a while, you're like, you're really close, but I still don't want to run out of my way to get you.
Yeah. I mean, well, they are put there just for people who are into getting all the trophies in games. That's all well and good and stuff, and if you can get it, then fair play to you. But no, Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 for me, just no. I'll
I
stick
would
with the
recommend
Ezio trilogy.
4. If you enjoyed any Assassin's Creed game, if you were disappointed with 3, I would say try 4. Try Black Flag.
Well, I'll give it a
Because-
go once I get a PS4.
And actually, speaking of which, main character, Edward Kenway, almost looks exactly like you. So there you go.
Who?
You,
Me?
Johnny. You, yes.
Oh my
It's-
good god.
There's one scene at the very start of the game where I went, that is the spit of Johnny. And I went, this has
Oh.
kind of ruined the game for me a bit.
Oh, did you get distracted by me again?
Well, no, it was that if I play a game, I don't want to play as someone I know.
Yeah, you do, because I'm great.
So I just drown you a few times and then got over it.
You'll never complete the game that way.
Oh, I had fun anyway. I had fun.
Oh,
Well,
What I
getting
quite
on
liked
from...
about it all, see, like back then, all the games were just pretty much the same, but it's good that they're actually developing like all the engines and stuff to make games better, and then they can experiment with the new engines, add new stuff like they've done with Black Flag with the ships. They'd never done anything as big as that. So it's like, it's good to see them trying new things with better engines, which is pretty much what they've done with Watch Dogs.
that's Ubisoft as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ubisoft. That's the
so
next
it's-
topic.
yeah. So it's like when I actually seen the trailer for Watch Dogs at E3, I thought it was like just someone coming on and talking about security. Like they actually played the trailer so well that it actually got you thinking, like, can people actually look at what I'm doing on my phone right now and stuff like that? And then when they basically told you it was a game, it was like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
amazing. The first time I
Hey.
heard about it, I seen the first gameplay trailer. It's where he's going
Yeah.
into the nightclub, and just seeing him as he walked into the nightclub and he took out his phone, and you could see
Yeah,
like,
the jammer.
bits of information just all popping up from different characters and their age and what they were talking about on their phone and who they were texting.
Yeah.
And it was all this. As long as Ubisoft stays away from its, its usual, trademarks, like Assassin's Creed, and they do give you a huge world to explore, but a lot of the time they don't give you enough variety in that world.
The more things change,
Yeah.
the more they stay the same. That's the way I look at it. That's the thing I'm a little bit scared about, is that back in the day when it came to gaming, like I was saying, a lot of game designers and developers didn't know exactly how to make a video game. It took a lot of trial and error, but we have come so far right now. And you look back at the history of video games, no matter what console or platform, and you say, look at the diverse sort of games that these amazing people have actually achieved and created. And I get a little scared looking at the current generation, because it's like, they're going to shrink up again and they're going to just worry about graphical content, and I don't want that. I want it to still remain a massive selection, but that's just so far. Hopefully it won't go that way, and I don't think it will. I think people, game developers are too smart for that now. They obviously
especially
know.
with how smart that they're using certain systems in Watch Dogs. With you can stop at traffic lights, or you can delay trains and stuff. So you can use them all as escape routes, or way to hinder your foes. And they've done something very interesting with the multiplayer, as it's kind of like a Dark Souls. Someone can invade your game world.
Yeah, madness like.
They'll start hacking you, and you have to find them. So they've added it in that way, so that you going into someone else's world. Say if you were to do it, it fits in with your story. So it's not trying to break the multiplayer off from the single player. It's trying to combine the two. And I think if done right, which I think the Dark Souls and Demon Souls, they didn't just get it right, because it was almost too much of a hindrance at times for a game that was already extremely difficult. To have someone invade your world and then kill you, and you lose some shit. But with Watch Dogs, it's like if they win, they get away with some info and some intel.
Yeah.
But that doesn't disrupt your gameplay. It doesn't get in the way of your single player campaign.
Yeah, it's like you don't feel like you got owned like you would if you were playing multiplayer Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's not like you got the wool pulled over your eyes. You were given a fair opportunity to you're both on the same grind basically.
Yeah,
whereas,
which is great.
Yeah, in games like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, there were people intruding into your world that were extremely well equipped.
Oh yeah,
and you could have been sitting there with nothing but a pair of drawers and a stick.
It's sort of like stumbling up into the wrong neighborhood in World of Warcraft and getting pwned by a level 90 horde. I mean, that's
exactly.
something. That actually happened to me when I did my 1 month free trial of World of Warcraft. I regret it. But
yeah, I can't say much about World of Warcraft.
I was just level 25, druid, blah 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 blah, dead. What?
Yeah, but Watch Dogs, it seems to be doing a lot more interesting things, with the features that they're adding and they're giving you.
Yeah.
Because you're not the good guy hero. You're like an anti-hero. You're on the.
Yeah, you're like a vigilante in a way.
Yeah. And
but at the same time, you're on the good side as well. Like when you seen the trailer, the 14-minute long one, you seen your character going up to someone that was in an argument with a guy or something, and then he was trying to do good but ended up doing bad, and then getting chased by police and stuff like that. So it's like a sort of double jointed game.
Yeah,
it's sort of
his intentions are good, but
his
the way he's going
bad.
about it, he's hacking people, finding out information about them. It's very unethical. It's very, NSA.
Yeah.
Sort of just invasion of privacy, but it's kind of like, do the means justify the end?
It's sort of
I get that. It's like do two wrongs make a right in a way.
Yeah. And in some cases,
curious about the multiplayer though. Really curious.
Oh, it's just I'm not sure if they're planning any sort of team-based multiplayer. I think they're just doing your world can be invaded. I'm not sure if you and someone else can team up to invade someone, or if there's going to be like a team deathmatch, or any other modes I haven't heard much about.
I am liking the sound of invading people. That just sounds dirty.
Something to look forward to anyway. Some features that aren't normally explored in games. Hacking. You got Deus Ex, Human Revolution lets you hack certain things, but it always feels kind of third party. Like you're not really involved. It's just a couple of wee mini games, and you open a door or you read someone's email. But
half the time it feels like a quick time event, and we just push the button in time. Yeah,
but
I don't really mind those, but if they're done right,
it can be very strategic. In police escapes, or in tracking someone down, or using it in a firefight, or to scout an area so you can sneak in without harming anyone.
Well, it's awesome because the game is specifically designed so that you pretty much have anything and everything at your disposal to do whatever it is you need to do. You're not really bound or restricted by any certain kinds of methods, but at the same time, you're bound and constricted by so many different methods of one variety.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, your methods can be unethical in achieving the goal sometimes. But in a way, it's kind of like, well, this is the way the game's meant to be played. If you don't agree with the way this character is acting, then please switch off your console now.
Yeah, but there's random events where you can see if an argument's happening. He can, using his phone and the equipment he's got, he can see the percentage of this argument turning volatile.
Ooh.
So you can stay to keep your eye on them, or you can walk on. You stay and keep your eye on them. It might resolve itself, but it might end in a fight or a mugging or a murder.
It's kind of like it's hard to choose between what is a right and wrong decision. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
You just sort of have to go on gut instinct and think it out. But Watch Dogs just really went for that super realistic approach when it comes to being in a city or a kind of game like that. There, I'm not sure if is it open world like sandbox?
It's open world.
It's open world.
It is open world, yeah.
Sandbox, yes. There's the usual in open world games. There's your many cars you can purchase, gun stores. I'm not sure if there's any customization for Eden himself, but there's definitely customization as far as your weapon types and what the model of car you want to use. If you want a big heavy thing that can just plow through traffic, or if you want a sleek, fast, maybe a little fragile car to narrowly make your way through the alleyways and escape.
That sounds great. That sounds lovely. That sounds like a holiday to me, like, seriously.
What the need to do though is to make use of all this space.
I'm sure that
a reason
to
explore, and not collectibles. Ubisoft, not collectibles.
Dude, don't jinx it. It's Ubisoft.
No feathers, no
There will be
flags,
collectibles.
no anonymous fragments.
No,
And
they'll-
you know what? I've got a feeling you run about. You probably pick up batteries for your phone. It's SD cards or.
I'd rather Sucker Punch were involved when it came to collectibles. At least their collectibles are useful.
Yes.
What about if your phone runs out of battery and you have to attach your phone to a lamppost or something, just
sit there.
just
for
charge
half
up
an
and
hour.
run.
And it charges up in real time. Come back in 4 hours.
Or
You
if
can
the
leave it there, but
cars-
if you come back, someone stole your phone and they're running about hacking people and watching people in the shower. And
What about if the cars you drive is like a Prius or something that's electric?
An electric Prius? Dude, you're talking Flintstones now.
And now for the multiplayer, I really don't know how that's going to play out, because when you're on single player, you're equipped with everything. You can hack stuff, all that sort of EMP and stuff. On multiplayer, I don't know if it will be like you have to do side missions to make money and then buy that, or if you can buy the phone to do certain stuff and then do missions, make money, and then upgrade the phone, stuff like that.
That sounds along the lines of the Grand Theft Auto regime of upgrading.
Yeah,
Or
because
like the Saints Row way of it.
I don't see them having a multiplayer where you start with full weapon system.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to play
I
that.
like starting from the bottom. I mean, there were some games. There was one I had literally in my head today, and it lets you play with all the powers that you've got. The first prototype.
Oh,
lets
yeah,
you
that
play
was,
with all the
uh,
powers you've got at the very start, and then takes them away from you. I don't like that. I like finding out these powers as I get there.
Yeah,
something
that's
wonder
right.
what this is going to look like, or I wonder how much more powerful I'm going to become, or how fast can I run, or how high can I jump. Not, I know what I can do, but currently I can only jump 3 feet.
Uh-huh. Oh no, I get that completely. For example, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. What was that like? At the very start of the game, you're Alucard flying straight into the castle. You run straight up, you're slaying things, you've got the best armor, you've got the best weapon. Oh no, you encounter the Grim Reaper who takes away all your shit. Now you gotta go around Dracula's castle and get all your shit back. How irritating is that?
You
How
don't want
it's
to
like-
know what you could have had.
Yeah,
You
the
don't
game's
want to
like-
know what you will have. You want to
You want
just
to find
start
out,
off.
you want surprise. Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, it would-
wonder
That would
what's
suck
gonna
ass if you started Dead Space and you had the best armor and the best weapons, and then all of a sudden, a vacuum
thanks.
opened in the ship and all your shit got sucked out except you. I just don't. I don't get what was going through some people's heads when it came to making games. So it's like, oh yeah, we'll just tease the player.
Yeah,
and then the
that's-
game's like, oh, you like all this stuff? Well, fuck you, you're getting it.
understand the premise behind it. You know, it's almost like a driving force, but it's just
Yeah.
not implemented well. It didn't work as they planned it to.
It doesn't make it feel like that when you get all the best stuff back. It doesn't make you feel like you've achieved anything. It makes you feel
Yeah.
like you've just passed go.
And it's like, there we go, got my stuff.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It would be better if you could like get your get back, but then keep on going. So you know that you're gonna get good stuff eventually, but you don't know that you're gonna get better stuff. That
Yeah,
would be
or
a good way to do
what they
it.
could do is just not take away all your shit. You know,
Well,
give
yeah.
you what you need at the start and just let you play it through and not be douchebags and say, you had a taste, but you can't eat the fucker.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. That's just how it goes sometimes. But I suppose those Castlevania games are pretty damn good though. Despite the the Metroid-y kind of gameplay. I mean,
No, I used to love
sometimes
the
it's hard.
games.
No, sometimes it's just hard on you because you're having to revisit a lot of areas. You have to
Yes.
grind a lot and stuff like that there.
It's-
But I think it's
But-
just because of the way that they present the games that it makes it fun and enjoyable.
You know, I mean,
don't-
it's with
doesn't feel
Castlevania.
redundant.
I never really regretted having to, travel back to places. What annoyed me was
Yeah.
trying to find places that I knew I needed a certain power to reach a certain thing, and then
Oh,
I got the power and I couldn't remember which room was it.
Yeah,
and
having
then
to get back there.
The endless running, and then ending up where you started off, and spending 3 hours to find a room that you realised was next door. Just
I know it is pure hateful. Like,
and you have to constantly play the game. If you leave the game for a day, you're lost. You forget the layout of the castle completely.
well, another thing about Castlevania is that you couldn't save on the spot. You had to find save points.
Yeah, so when
They
you
were-
died, sometimes it was very, very punishing.
Oh, super frustrating. Super frustrating. But if you stick to more like the linear style of gameplay, like the original first Castlevania, it was the second Castlevania, Simon's Quest, I think, that actually began to utilize the Metroid map formula.
Yeah,
And that's where, that one sort of stood out, but, that was a bit of a poo game, apparently. And then the third one, the fourth one, I think was it the third one just went back to linear, and then the fourth one went back to Metroid? I don't know. I can't even remember.
I just remember the worst title was released on Nintendo 64, and it was like a 3D platformer action game.
Yeah.
It was like before
Oh,
Lords
well-
of Shadow. it
Oh,
was
that's
like
the one, Lords of Shadow, yeah.
that's the recent one, and well, it was out a while ago, but it's the most recent sort of 3D, Devil May Cry platformer.
Yeah. Although Devil May Cry was good, though. But anyway,
Well,
I think...
so was the new Castlevania.
It's still
I
it's still
myself
worth
personally
jumping
didn't
in and
really
having a
enjoy
look.
it, but
Yeah.
I can say it's good because I've heard from many of my friends and even my family that they're all gamers and I would respect their opinion 100%. Rated the
Oh, yeah,
top
of
on my
course.
list, and they've enjoyed
When you have
it.
an opinion that's a reliable source, then you can sort of take it on board a lot more,
Yeah.
which is good. I think we've been talking now for nearly about an hour or so I think we should wrap this up, guys. Another little thing I want to bring to the table just while we're here is the Terror-Byte Gaming giveaway that should be happening soonish. Do you have
Yes,
any?
I believe
Yeah.
Steve-O is sitting in the wings ready to come in and comment on this.
Hello.
There he
the
is.
Kraken awakes.
I'm still here, don't worry. Sitting,
Aye.
just counting the frames encoded on XSplit here. Just
Counting
counting
the
them.
counting the gigabytes.
Right, well, you want to say something about the recent giveaway?
Yep. Gunnar, Advanced Gaming Eyewear. Take your vision to the next level. Very good. But they have
Oh, yeah.
kindly supplied us with the power of their emissary computer glasses.
We should have some pictures up with the video.
There will be a PDF in the description below of the
In the
exact
description below.
specifications of the glasses, but they sport an aluminium frame. They're lightweight, very comfortable.
Oh.
There's a amber lens tint to reduce eye strain and improve contrast. Personally, well, I wear contact lenses / glasses, so I pay for contacts, so I'm not going to wear glasses.
But we have no information on what the competition is going to be.
Not as yet.
receive them,
It'll
not
be
as yet.
there should be a sweepstake app appearing on the Facebook page. Just want to iron out a few details, but David, I believe you have some stuff for the giveaway too.
Yep,
Some
I myself have some some swag for the giveaway.
Some swag.
But I'm not sure what all's going into one giveaway, or if, there's a lot of stuff, or whether I'm going to split it up into two so that can keep two people happy as opposed to one person sitting with a room full of swag.
Well, any ideas for competitions? Just throw it in the comments below, or send it on the Facebook page. We might link it up.
I have a couple of wee knickknacks I can throw into the giveaway as well, and they're to be announced, obviously.
Well, I still have Venermech stuff here. There's a TB a polished fan, 140mm still sitting here. We've got some of their cable ties, the wee Velcro guys.
Yeah.
A couple of lanyards, notepads, but we're waiting on a few companies sending out a few bits and pieces, but that's all PC related. So David has
some books and comics and keychains and cups and bags and
swag.
swag.
Bags, keychains, everything. Laser
Everything
pointers.
you could possibly need. No laser pointers. Don't promise laser pointers. I cannot make good on your promises.
No, I'm just
Steve-o,
Yes.
driving away here.
what do you think about keeping the competition gaming related by having some people no matter who it is that's giving it away, having a sort of killing floor competition where
How would a killing floor competition work?
A gaming competition
like
might be
on-
too bad, but I'm not sure we're on any servers that could. Maybe in Counter-Strike?
We don't have the Counter-Strike
something,
server anymore. We swapped it for a Left 4 Dead server.
Left 4
just
Dead?
something
Not
that's
really.
gaming related, like the last person to stay alive wins.
We can
Some-
stick
You mean something like Last Man Standing? You would need to host that,
Yeah.
well, we have the killing
physically.
floor server. We could have sort of tiers.
Well, all ideas that can be hashed out later.
Well, if you look at it this way, we could bump the difficulty up to suicidal. Put
Make
a,
it
few,
extremely
put, a,
difficult.
put a few mods on, like maybe 100.
Insta-kill.
Not so much insta kill, just
I think we should do, if it's going to be a killing floor competition, we should do it for the Resident Evil map. Who can get through it? Who can actually complete that
Oh,
map?
the story mode.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Very difficult.
very difficult. But
very
I think
fun.
it'd be great.
Well, the mod's still sitting there.
Well, it would weed out the week. I said that.
Well,
And leave only the straw.
I'll put a link in the description for that map pack so people can just add it to their Steam directories.
Well, fair enough. Well, that's one idea.
Yeah.
It's one idea, but of course the competition is still to be confirmed, and we've got loads of goodies.
And there's
Loads of goodies.
still more to come. It's all good.
Still quite. I don't know. I think we're done here.
Yeah,
Are we done
we're
talking?
done.
I believe
Yeah.
we are. Don't forget to check the link below to look at the gunners. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and check out our Facebook page.
Quite right. Also, you can jump over to the Terror-Byte Gaming website for all other
It's-
news-related
Oh
stuff.
no, the website's still under construction, but
Oh,
the
well.
website
We
is
still have our blog, I believe.
the website's still coming.
But yep, we're working on a new website. So there's
Oh,
that
well.
to look forward to.
Yes, well, probably by the time someone has heard this in the future, the website will be fine anyway, and it'll be all good. We'll be all millionaires. I don't know. Future prospecting.
You never know.
Well, I think that's us. I think we're done.
It's a good note to end it.
Yeah. Well, I think from myself, Steve-o, Mark, and David, we are Terror-Byte Gaming, and everyone, play on.